Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Oh, might be. I muted the mic. I was talking for like 20 minutes. No, it was only like 5. Let me know if you got here from the YouTube or if you got here from the stream, and if there's any problems with connection, because I'd like to know that before I start doing MC stuff, because that's going to be a lot heavier. So if you were able to see this like on YouTube, then I think it's working. But they changed the way live streaming works yet again. So I've been trying to figure out that I'm doing it properly, because I don't do this too often. And obviously I don't use Twitch just because Twitch is Twitch. You guys are all here. All right, YouTube recommended. All right, so we're good. So I am working on some code, and I'll be doing a bunch of different things. And I blew up the text so it's visible, I think. I can increase the font size even more if you want, but I think this is big enough. Anyways, so this is I'm working on kind of an encoder decoder right now. So this is called BCWT. And what it does is it encodes images, but it's literally the best. You can't change my mind. Best encoder ever. So, but there's no information on how to do it. So I've been kind of challenged with trying to make the code myself. Can I link your code? If you mean the link to this stream, yeah, sure. Since when did you not? Since forever. This is MATLAB though, so if you actually know programming languages, you will probably not like this. All right, so MQD equals that. Actually, MQD already is something. Okay, not bad. MQD equals MQD minus, no, Qmax minus MQD. So that should be, oh, we're going to need the command. Okay. So if we run this, then we run this, let's see, length of header is 0. So it should not, hypothetically, it shouldn't, oop, it still killed it. What? Ah, it cleared all the vars. All right. So how about we just do something else? Let's move header to a temporary header and just steal from that. So there's an encode and there's a decode. And the encode is where you turn your image into a stream of binary, and the decode is where you turn your binary into an image. So header 1 equals header. This is just for the sake of me. Control H. Header with header 1. And there's a couple things that you need to know for this. You need to have a header, which tells you starting information. And then you need to have a stream, which tells you that's your stream that you read from. So if I run this multiple times, it should be good. Cool. And the MQD is Qmax minus MQD. So this is not Java. So essentially what's going on here is we're taking this block of constants, so all these numbers, and this one too, and we're turning them into a stream of binary numbers, and the stream of binary numbers then needs to come back. So obviously I already did that, so when I run this I have a stream, see, 1 0 0 0 0 0 1 1 1. This is not the best program to do this in, MATLAB, but it's just because it has a lot of other libraries. It's kind of like Python wouldn't be the best program to do it in either, but it has a lot of things people already made. So yeah, so we turned it into our 1s and 0s, and now we have to turn it back, but it's not exactly the same value. And what this is it's basically the best way of doing this to an image that is out there. And actually, MATLAB is a program that I use for a lot of Minecraft stuff. So let me show you some of the stuff that I did in Minecraft here. Where is it? I think it's under hold. And we have some Minecraft related things here. I have the particle grapher, the first version here, and we have a map gen. What does this do? Oh, it generates a list of Talraws that looks like a square. It's like for Talraw stuff. But yeah, I use MATLAB for like all kinds of different things. You usually use it when you want like a quick and dirty kind of solution to something. You don't really care how good it is. You just care about getting it done because it handles matrices like really well. Okay. Like for example, MQD is a 2x2 matrix like this, and you can just say number minus matrix and it'll do it. Anyways. So the idea here is that you have this MQD, and the MQD map tells you the quantization level, aka how many bits it takes to represent each number in each level, and you have to like build it from the stream. So the stream of bits in binary tell you what how big it is. So the first step in our stream is to figure out the first level of the MQD, essentially QL. So we'll set QL equal to Qmax, and then we do while stream1 at 1. So the first number is not equal to 1, or QL equals 0. Okay. No. Or QL is greater than 1. That should be good. So then what we do is we do stream at 1 equals nothing. So what this does is it throws away the first bit if it is not, if it's a 0. And we do QL equals QL minus 1. So this will do is it should give us a value for QL. Oop. What did it do? Stream 1 at 1. Let's see, stream 1. I was getting a phone call. What's up, guys? Oh, this is MATLAB, but we're also going to be doing like Minecraft later as well. So I think what I'll do is I'll just do whatever you guys want in there. Or maybe I'll work on some custom enchants. So QL equals Qmax. Oh, let's just do that. So this will give us QL of 5 because in our bit stream that we started with, we read 1, 0, and then we see the 1. So our QL is 5, which means that the quantization level of everything in that quadrant, so it's imagining things in blocks of 2x2. So that means that the biggest value out of these 4 values is 5, which is true. So that's kind of the logic we're following. And it does that recursively for every pixel in the image. So first thing gives us the 2x2's QL. Next thing, and I have it written down on a piece of paper here. So, all right, now we have to build the MQD. We have the advantage of we already have it here, but this is kind of what we want to get at. So technically we don't want that there. We want to like see if we can copy it. So first we got 5, which 5 is one of the numbers. We don't know which one it is though. So what we have to do is we have to read off each section. And what each section will do is it will then tell us constants that we're supposed to write. So this gives us the QL. Next we have to get, let me write this down. This is QL minus MQD. All right. Or technically it's MQD minus QL. And then we work that backwards to say QL is equal to our bit stuff is the MQD minus the bit stuff. So we just move the variable over. Okay, so we are building an MQD value. MQD, I guess I'll write it down here. So I'll start typing up the algorithm so you know what the algorithm is for decoding. Encoding is really cool actually. So I'll jump through this step by step. So if some of you are interested in how to encode. So you have this constants, right? So these are all your numbers that you generated from your image, which it uses a wavelet transform, which I'm not going to get into. But let's just pretend you have these numbers that represent an image. And then you have these numbers that represent a smaller version of the image. And then you have these numbers that represent the smallest version of the image. All right, so first we're going to encode the full big image. So we go ahead and we grab all the quantization levels for that image. I can do a pause statement right here. So we can go like level by level. I think a pause here is the best place. All right. So what it does is we get the quantization level. So this is like how many bits it takes to represent each number. Did I do that properly? Let's cancel this. Let's run it. All right. So what it does is it generates constants. It takes the constants and it figures out how many bits you need to represent them. And then it takes that and it puts it onto a map. And then it says group the constants in groups of 2 by 2. So you have kind of like a smaller version to figure out what their parent is. And that's going to be the MQD block. So the MQD is always a quarter the size because it groups in 2 by 2. That's this block prot stuff with 2 by 2. Okay, so that, and it also is the value is going to take the maximum of the 2 by 2 block. So if we go to Q here, Q is an 8 by 8. Oh, Q is an 8 by 8. So this is all the bits that it'll take for each number. And this block, your MQD value would be 2 because the biggest number here is 2. The one here, the biggest number is 3, biggest number is 3, biggest number is 2. So the logic is that anytime you see something where the biggest number of the group is less than 3, because our minimum quantization level is 3, then you basically say, well, that whole group of numbers is stupid and we don't write it. So this one we do write, but this one, the numbers is lower than what we care about. So then when you go to the next level and the next level and the next level, the numbers get bigger, so there's more numbers that you care about. But overall, the amount of numbers you care about is smaller because you kept shrinking image size. And that's the idea. And what it turns out is it's like 1 to 40 times compression. So your image is 40 times smaller. And then your the compression algorithm time that it takes to run, it's incredibly fast. And the decoding is 10 times faster. So that's kind of how overview of how it works. So this is like a huge for loop to just run through like all of the variables and making their MQD levels. So if we remove the pause here, it just blasts through everything real fast. And this kind of gives me like hints of what the MQD levels are for each stage. So that generates it, and then this is trying to take it apart. So if at first we took the quantization levels, we built it up to figure out how many bits we need for each number. Now we have to take it apart. So we have to figure out how many bits each number takes up in the stream and then take that many bits off of the stream. Because all we got from that thing was all these ones and zeros, but we don't necessarily know which is a number. Is this a number? Is this a number? Is all this a number? We don't know. So we have to kind of come up with information to help us figure out how many it takes to show a number. All right, so yeah. So the first step is you have to build it backwards. So at first we took our image here, the big thing, and we turned it into a quarter size, like smaller, so 4 by 4. And then we took that smaller and we turned it into a 2 by 2, and you just do that recursively. But then now we have to start with the 2 by 2 and build up to the 4 by 4 and then the 8 by 8 and all that stuff. So first we take this and it tells us how big the maximum size is going to be for this group. So that tells us our max. All right. Then we have to do, so we know QL. Then I'm just going to use a temporary one. So temp QL is equal to QL. And then guess what? We do this exact same thing again to figure out what the temp QL is. So this is like the QL for the next group. So the child, which when we come through this, the first temp QL is going to be 4. So here's a 5, Oh, the first temp QL is a 5. What? Oh, shoot. You have to delete the 1 after you're done. Yeah, you have to clean up your mess. All right. So we run that, and now it's a 4. Yes. I guess in Java, you would do a do while loop. So then this condition would pull off the 1 as well. But I'm working in MATLAB, so. All right. So this tells us what? That the MQD at, what is it? The end at the bottom right-hand corner, so 2, 2, is equal to tempql. So this is starting to help figure out what it is, because we're rebuilding the MQD map. So, I mean, technically we have to do this 4 times, and this is also going to give us the constants that we're pulling out. So this will give us our tiny resolution image. So we do a tiny image. So let's pull off the constants. So we know the tempql, so instead of using a while loop, we use a for loop. So for I equals 1 to tempql. So we're pulling off that many, because in this group, our quantization level is 4. So we pull off 3 bits for each number. So we go ahead and do piece equals stream at 1. Stream 1 at 1 equals, and then delete. So we're just basically gonna, I mean, I guess we could do stream 1 from 1 to tempql minus 1. We could do that, which works. So this will grab 3 numbers, and then we can say piece is equal to that, and we can delete those numbers. Okay, so this will give us another number. So we have piece, which is going to be this what number we decode. So we read 1 0 and then a 1 at the end. So we have 1 0 1. Then in order to figure out what this thing is, we have to add some numbers to it. So for this first guy, it's technically, oh, I went 1 too far. It is going to be that much minus 2 because we are in MATLAB. And the thing I wrote here, it is, oh, QL, sorry, tempql minus qmin plus 1. That's the equation. All right. Qmin is something that we remembered. So our stream is 1 and 0. All right, so that's our piece, okay? And then if piece, and I think I had this in my previous BCWT, so this is our logic. So if we see like all zeros, then that means that's a 0, that's nothing. But if we see numbers, then we have to evaluate. So copy this guy. I got this wrong before, so I'm remaking it essentially. So we're just gonna make a string that is the same length filled with zeros. So tempql minus qmin plus 1, which is 2 zeros. So if we have 2 zeros and you compare that to the piece, and if the piece is 2 zeros, if the piece is not 2 zeros, then it's a number. If it is 2 zeros, then it's not a number. So we just read the next piece. And we do this 4 times, and it's always 4 times. You're always going to have 4 numbers packaged with each group. All right. So if it is a number, then we're going to have a sign, because we have to know, is this number plus or minus? All right. So if it's a sign, then we have to do sign equals, or let's say the sign equals stream 1 at 1, and then stream 1 at 1 equals delete. Okay. And then if the sign equals 0, then num equals num times -1. So if it's a 0, it's a -1. If it's 1, then it's positive. Lastly, we have to decode this thing backwards from our 1 and we read a 1 0. We have to turn that into a number. So how do we evaluate that? I did it in the previous thing. So I'm going to take that. So here's our string. Let's go into BCWT2. So what we do is we take that 1 and that 0, and we add q min zeros to it. So if our minimum quantization level is 3, we add 3 zeros to it, to the piece. So that's 1 0 0 0 0, and then we turn that into a decimal number. So let's go ahead and do, oh, if it's not, then num equals 0, and then disp num. So we can see what numbers it pulled off. So the numbers, oh, I don't want to read what piece is. So the numbers it pulled off was 16, -16, -24, and 16, which is the correct values. I can just tell you that from the start, get-go. So what we do is we're pulling off our digits, and we have to remember the way that we read them. So the way we read them was bottom right, like left to right, up to down. So we're doing it backwards. So technically we would do block at 2 minus I, 2 minus I divided by 2, right? No. Let's go ahead and do, wait, let's do a double for loop. The inner functions don't care about I, right? We just use that to do things. So we'll go block at I comma j, and instead it's 2 minus I comma j, 1 minus I comma 1 minus 2 is -1. 3 minus. I hate MATLAB for that. Is equal to num. All right, so this should give us what? Block. Here we go. Block is in a square. 16, -24, -16, 16. And from our original starting numbers, I'll actually just show that so you can see what it's reading here. It comes from this bit here, this bottom right-hand corner. It's going backwards, so it'll give you this block, then this one, then this one, then this one. So this bottom right hand is 18, -31, -21, and 19, like that. And what do we see here? You see something similar, but it's rounded because we're quantizing by 3 bits. We're taking away the bottom 3 bits. So this is the closest number that it can represent. Truncated. All right. So that built one of the blocks. Cool. How is our MQD looking? Well, that did one block, so we have to do this. Oh boy, you're going to love this one, guys. We're about to have a quad for loop. Oh boy. This is why you do things in Java and you don't do them in MATLAB. So we had to do a double for loop for the 2x2 numbers. Now we have to do a double for loop for the 2x2 numbers in the 2x2 quadrant. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, okay. Okay, there we go. And in case you guys were interested, it is literally snowing outside. So yeah, in Texas, which is interesting. But yeah, we're doing a quad for loop, which you would guess that you need a quad for loop based off of how you can see a quad for loop here. For x is 1 to size, for y is 1 to size, for n is 1 to 2, for m is 1 to 2, for I is 1 to 2, for j is 1 to 2. So you might imagine an 8-sized an 8-nested for loop. But if you're like translating this to some programming language that is logical, or at least one that is sane, not MATLAB, it wouldn't be a double for loop. You would use indexing and stuff. You can do like tree related things, which is the whole point of this. So let's just do, our MQD size is going to get bigger each time, but for now we're just going to assume it's like 4. So let's go ahead and do this. So we want to pull off 4 times, and we're going to do what, 3 minus x and 3 minus y. So this gives us our MQD in a 2x2 shape. This gives us 8x8 amount, 4x4 amounts of variables. So after this loop, we need to close this loop and close that loop and say constants at 9 minus x, 9 minus y. Oh, this is tricky. Okay, I want to grab this. I want to have these 4, and I want to grab this point here. Ooh. And I want to make sure that I grab that one, that one, that one, and that one. So that's 3, 4. Let's go 3, 4 is what we want. So if x is 1, oh boy. So we need 2 times x. 2 times x is 2. Oh, okay. So what's 7 minus 2? 5. Okay. 7 minus, what if we do x plus 1? So that's 2 times 2 is 4. That gives us 3. Okay. And then let's do 7 minus 2 times y. That is 4 in the x, 3 in the y. It's backwards. But yeah, that should give us 3 in the 4. I think so. So if we're ever questioning ourselves, we can just run it and display what it reads. And if it breaks, then it breaks. So be it. So let's display what these numbers are. Okay. And it got confused. So unable to perform because the indices on the left side are not comparable. Okay, well, fine. Let's just see what it gave us. So we got 5, 3. 5, 3. Right. Okay. That is not what we want. 6, 3. No. In here. 4, 3. 4, 1. Okay. 4, 3. That's this group. 4, 1. That's that group. 1, 3. 2, 3. Okay. 2, 3. Okay, so I need to add 1 here. Oh, no. That was fine. We need plus 2. Okay. 3, 3. 3, 3. 3, 1. 1, 3. 1, 1. Okay, cool. And then I need to define constants as like a 0 block, as zeros. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So let's do what? Constants equals zeros, and it's a 4x4. Right. And then we might run into trouble. Okay. So constants at this to, well, we'll just make sure that it's plus 1 and plus 1. So throw this into here. What does that give us? Oh, a 2x2 block. Okay, there we go. So if we go to constant, it might be wrong, but it looks kind of right. So let me look at my paper that tells me the numbers. So this group here is right. We know that. This group here was not quantized because it was skipped. We already established that. This guy is technically. Okay, well, we'll have to take a look at that because the MQD should have a 0 in it. But so here's 0 because it's too, the numbers are too tiny. Nobody cares about those numbers. This guy is not in the right order, and this guy is not in the right magnitude. So what happened was the 0. The 0, it flipped out. It should not. So let's see. Let's go with 1 to 2. So that should give us, it fills in 2 of our numbers for us. So we got here and then we stop here. This is where it gets upset. So temp MQD, where are you? Temp QL. Oh, temp QL is 1. Okay. So if temp QL is greater than 1, then then we do the writing stuff. And we should definitely right here say that the block equals zeros and it's a 2 by 2. All right, so let's go ahead and run for all the variables, and we might see a little change here. Something. Okay, so we run one of these guys, and it gave us temp QL. Let's see, MQD 3 minus X, 3 minus Y. What's that? That's a 1. Okay. And then what's temp QL? That's a 1. Okay. So that makes it a 1. So QL is 5. Okay. Then we go to the stream. We read off this, we read off this, then we read off, let's just go like this, and then we can read the stream one. Okay. So we read 4 zeros, and then we read a 1. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we read a 1. Okay. Well, if temp QL is less than qmin, greater than qmin, or equal to, then do it. Okay. And then let's go with times temp QL greater than or equal to qmin. Okay, so if it's greater than or equal to 3, then it'll be itself, otherwise it's a 0. Okay. So now we have a 4 and a 0. Okay. Now let's run it again and see exactly what it gives us. 4 and a 0 and a 5 and a 5. Okay, the 5 is the concerning part. So let's throw those two numbers off, see what the stream is. So we get 1, 1, 1. Okay. So it's telling us 1, 1, 1, which should not be anything. Okay. So if we ran this guy, we have 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, and then it tells it 0, 1. Okay. So if we just fast forward down to where it says 0, 0, 0. 0, 0, 0. I see the problem. Okay. Let's go or temp QL is less than qmin. Then then you should see something else when you end up here. Oh. I might have not an or. Okay, so if it sees a 1, if it sees a 0, continue. Has to be greater than qmin. Okay, there we go. So. Now it should leave us with it should have left us with another 0. So change this. Okay. 0, 1. There we go. 0, 1. That's what I care about, the little extra. Okay. So it left us with an extra number here. So now when we translate this guy, you get what? Okay. It's just to run the first. TempQL is 3. What? Huh? Okay. TempQL is 1. I might have been... should be and, probably. I'm just getting the logic wrong. I need like to make sure I get the logic right. So let's go ahead and do 2 levels. So our MQD has that. Let's do 3 levels. Okay, I'm seeing something decent here. Except I see a 4 and a 5, which I don't like that. I might have my encoder backwards in terms of how it writes. Let's see. Let's go ahead and just do 1 here. So this is going to do pop off 2 levels, and that leaves us with 1, 1, huh? No, it should be 0, 1. Yeah, so it popped off an extra 0 that it shouldn't be. Let's go ahead and do +1. Maybe that's the trick. Nope. So, let's see. If we just run it like this, then what happens? We are left with all these 1s, okay? If we just read the first guy, we're left with 110, which is, we need to read 3 zeros, okay? Which will be QL, which is 5. It reads the first 0 becomes 4. It reads the second 0 becomes 3. Reads the second 0 becomes 2, okay? So it read 1 0. This one read 3 zeros to determine what TempQL is, which should leave us. How come it doesn't leave us with a 0, 1 left over? It's mighty suspicious. Because if we just do 1 level, we should have 4 zeros. Okay. Delete, delete, delete. Let's see. 2, 3. So we should have 107. Interesting. All right, let's run it. Run it for 2. Run it for 2. It read 2 1s. And it has 101, huh? Okay. I see the problem. It has 106. TempQL is equal to 2. It's deleting this extra guy off. That's why. It's assuming that the thing you left off at is a 1. Okay, so let's go if stream 1 at 1 equals 1. There's my confusion. The tricky thing is that 3 zeros means it's 0, but if you don't have 3 zeros, then there will be a 1 there that you also need to delete. So you're kind of stuck. And then the rest should follow suit. So we're left with 107. Yep. Then let's do it for 2 by 2, and boom, 5404. Sorry that you had to look through my debugging attempts on MATLAB. But there we go. So we have a 2 by 2 MQD map, which will tell us the QLs for the next level. So this guy correlates to another level, and it tells us 4 is the max of that level. And our constants pop off as this, which according to my paper, let's check out the paper. So this guy is 8, it came from 12, 16 came from 17, -8 came from -15, and 24 came from 24. Perfecto. 0 came from -7, makes sense because our minimum quantization level is 7, 1, 1, 1, so -7 throws away. 24 came from 28, 32 came from 35, and -16 came from -23. So what we basically did is we turned this guy into this guy, and we threw away the numbers, these numbers and this number and these bottom 4. We threw away the numbers that we don't care about, which makes sense because our minimum quantization means like minimum threshold for what a number that we care about. Okay, so that actually did one level properly. We just have to pull off the next level, so there's still 77 bits to read. But that's when the recursion starts to kick in and you start to want to die. So I can't do recursion in this algorithm. So in order to yo, what's up, Noah? How you doing, dude? In order to do the recursion in this algorithm, you have to use like C, because MATLAB sucks. So we do, okay, so we get rid of this guy and we start to read from the MQD. So instead of unloading this, right, it already gave it to us up here. So basically I'm just doing all this work for doing this whole quantity times level. So level times. All right, so then we're going to say level equals 1, and we're going to have a variable called level that just gets bigger and bigger. Okay, so level is 1, and when it's 1, then everything should pop off just fine. And then we just increment level to be 2, and then when it's 2, it'll be something proper. I think this is the formula we need, to be exact. Okay. Then everything correlates to a 2 by 2 size. Oh, block is always going to be the same size. MQD really correlates to a square of values, so I can instead load it the same way I load the constants. So right here, when we're done with the MQD, then our MQD comes out to be our full MQD N, which is our next MQD, is going to be MQD, and then we just copy this guy because it's a 2 by 2, and then we go ahead and change our variables to some other variables, and we're going to have a third layer of for loops because everybody likes for loops. And these are going to have to do with the next layer of the MQD. So 1 to 2 for m equals 1 to 2. And this is where I stop doing the indentation because I'm lazy. All right. And there we go. So then we instead go like Just do MQDN. So let's make that. MQDN is equal to zeros of, and this is an 8x8. Okay, so now it starts to get really tricky. Index exceeds array bounds. Where's this at? Oh, it might have deleted everything off the stream. I think we went through everything. So we have to, again, well, we need some more logic here. So we go MQD at 1 or n comma m. And we say QL is equal to that. And we go ahead and instead of assigning like MQD stuff here, let's just call this MQDS. And MQDS is equal to Qmax minus MQD. Okay. Oof. All right, it did something. I'm kind of scared as to trying to make this work or make sure this works. It definitely didn't. I'll tell you that. But, oh, it's a 4x4, not an 8x8. Okay, then maybe it did work. Is there actually a method to my madness? Nope. All right. It's almost accurate. Difference is we need to be traversing MQDS from 3 minus. We need to do it backwards. And then it decided to break. Okay. Where's DISP? I hate you. Get out of here, DISP. All right. So where did we get left off when it bugged? So this became a 4, a 4, a 3, and a 4. And this was zeros, and this was a 4, a 4, and a 3, and a 4. So it might have had problems there. So this is where we start by just doing 1 to 1. So we just do 1 of the next level. And our MQD popped off to be that. Okay. So I think for the first level, we should just throw away all the bits. All the bits that's required here. So we're just going to, I mean, there we go. So go ahead and do that. And we don't really, let's just say MQDS equals MQD. So then if we run this first step, it'll create our MQD, right? Nope. This needs to be included in it. Otherwise it's reading nothing. Okay. So here's our first level, 5404. Okay. This is old information. Then we have this next level, which I'm interested to see what goes wrong. 4333. Okay. So, and then it shoved it into there. So we are putting things in the right places. So let's go ahead and see this first level. Then what does the stream give us at the beginning? So we have a 0, 1, which looks good. So then let's see, just 1, we just turn these to 1s and we read 1 of those first guys. That tells us the temp QL is 3, which that does kind of line up with what we're supposed to do. Okay. So we took the 4 and we subtracted 1, it became the 3 because of our first one, MQDS. So we took this 4 and we subtracted 1, it became 3. Then wait, I ran it. Oh, I ran it. Okay. I might have ran it, so let's go ahead and run it first time. See this? Okay, so we'll subtract. We should get 3 for temp, and then it should start reading stuff. So okay, so yeah, then our temp QL became 3, and it unloaded 7 bits. Okay, and then it left us with another 0, 1. So there's 2 3s here. Does that line up? Yes. Okay. So let's go from 1 to 2. And let's see what the next layer gives us. And we basically just have to run until we find the kill case. So we had a 3 again. Okay. So that's a 3 and a 3 in the bottom left and bottom right, which is exactly what we want. Okay. And that leaves us with another 0, 1. So we have 3 and 3. And it left us with a 0, 1 at the end, which is another 3. Okay. I think that's where it becomes wrong because okay, let's run this. Use our logic, our brains on this. So 0, 1 tells us 3. Okay. 0, 0 tells us it's not a number. All right. 0, 1 tells us it is a number, so we take the 1. 0, 1 tells us it is a number, so we take the 1. 1, 0 tells us it is a number, so we take the 1. And then we're left with 0, 0. Okay, so it did something funky, and we lost the number at the end because we should have only taken this many numbers. So we did something and we lost something. So where are we losing stuff? Somewhere in here. So let's go ahead and do. So it should be reading from 1 to, or temp QL was 3. Oh, okay, okay. So our temp QL is 3, so that actually means we only read 1 number, right? 1 digit. Yeah, it's only 1 digit. So we actually read 1 digit and we see a 0. And we see the next one is a 0. And we see the next one is a 0. And then we see the next one is a 1. And then we just grab there. So then we're left with 0, 1. It's grabbing all that. Does this make sense? Maybe. Am I crazy? Yes, definitely. So that one correlates to that one, which correlates to that one, which correlates down there. Yeah, there's a lot of numbers you just delete. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you delete everything except for one of them. Okay, I believe it. So then the next guy would become a 3. Okay. So if we run forward, so we run this guy. So we had a 0, 1. We see a 1. This is a number. We see a 0, 0, 0. Yeah, we delete stuff. Okay, so we see a 1, 1. That's a number. That's not a number. That's not a number. That's not a number. We're left with 0, 1. Okay, so then our next guy is again 3. All right. So then we see 0, 0, 0, and then we see a number. Yes. Okay. Then the next group is a 0, 1 again. That does not make sense. It should be a 2 zeros. It should be 2 zeros, but it's not. Huh. Okay. So maybe our encoder's wrong. So our first section, we see 0, 1, and then we see these 3 guys. So that one's good. We got our first guy popping off, right? Then, oh, okay. So for our group, we see, forgot to pop off QL. That's the problem. Oh, I saw it. I saw it. Don't act like I didn't see it. It was here. Here. This bit of code here. This is the bit of code here. Here it is. We said QL is equal to MQD at S. We also need to delete the first set of bits. We have to read it, right? So we need another one of these readers to count the zeros, and we need another one of these things to not delete it if it's not a 1. Okay, so then our QL actually should be 3 for that group. So then when we start running through this guy, we come out with a 3. Okay, so then let's run this again. And we came out with 4 values for MQD. Okay. 1, 2. This guy tells you that. And this guy tells you the group is dum-dum. And this guy tells you the group has these. Okay, so if we see a 1, then it'll just be 3. Okay. So let's go ahead and run like this. What do we get? Okay. Where's our QL? QL is 4. No, it shouldn't be 4. We should be running this. Then we should be running this. And our QL should be 3. Yes, okay. So our QL was 3. Our temp QL was 3. We deleted some stuff and we came out with the 3. Okay. Then we're going to change this. Oh, okay, so we got 2 3s. All right, so let's do that again. So we run the top, then we run the bottom. And we should come out with, here it is. Yes, okay, so we have the 0 here because this is like something that's too tiny for us to care about, but we save these 3 variables. Okay. Slowly but surely reinstating our sanity checks. So we run all of the code. Oh, I might have hit a dead end, but let's see what happened to MQDN. So we have 3, 3, and a 0. According to the paper, that's right. All zeros. According to the paper, that's right. 0, 3, 3. A 4 here is not right. Okay, so we might have accidentally read too much stuff there. So back it up. Read that. Stream 1 got us down to here. Oh, we see 2 zeros. What does that mean? That means that we need to kill it, right? I think it's even less than that. I think it's just, that's the condition. I forgot. We don't read anything if QL is less than QMin. We shouldn't read anything at all. All right, so here's our for loop. Double for loop, else, and this is where the indentation doesn't look right. Okay, so we say it's that. Otherwise, we say it's a 2 by 2 of zeros. Right. Because if we know it's already up here, if we know it's already 0. Oh, if it's greater than or equal to. If we know it's supposed to already be zeros, then we write zeros. Don't care about constants right now. I care about MQDN. So this gave us that. Okay. Let's go ahead and disp QL at this point. Oh, it's 1 to 1. Okay, 2 to 2. Okay, so it returned some weird stuff. Where's our MQDS? Okay, so we have 4. We have to go back even further. We is stupid. All the way up here. We don't want to even delete stuff. We're saying nothing to say nothing. Okay. Well, that's fair. And it eventually hits a wall. So we read a 4, a 0, a 4, and a 5. Okay. So oh, I might not have. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I get so involved in this. It gets so intense. Oh, I saw a donation from IFJVAC. I don't know what the currency translation is, but thanks, guys. All right. So we have, let's see, this QL. So we'll just display the QL if we decided to read it. So it did a 4 and a 4 and a 5. Okay. We are writing absolutely nothing for sections that are absolutely nothing. So that's what I want to do. All right, so let's step it again. So let's see. We have 1 and 1. Let's just do one level. So we do one level. We read a 4. What's our bit stream look like? We see some stuff here. Okay. So we read just one thing. Okay. So then let's go read two things. Okay. So here it says our QL was 0. What? Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Let's read 3 things. Wait. Is this reading 3 things? QL is 0. It says 4 and then it doesn't display. Yeah. Okay. And how do I display just 3 things? I guess you can't just do 3 things. So it'll eventually die. So it says a 0 and then it read a 4. Okay, well, let's see what the QL was after, because it should still be, for that group, the QL should be a 4. Oh! We put 2 zeros. Hold on. This group says nothing. This group is just a 1. Might have deleted something extra. I keep doing this thing where it like deletes one of the pieces off at the end that you need. So we see 0, 0, 1. If I instead just do this first group, and then 77 minus 53 is 24. So let's go over here to 24. This is where we see 0, 0, 1. We might need to get rid of all these zeros. So let's go ahead and see if that is the case, because if we do get rid of all those zeros, that leaves us with 1, and then it leaves us with 0, 0, 0, which that would make sense, I think. Yep. And then we have a 1, which, well, we see a 0, 0 that deletes it. We see a 0, 1, which makes sense. Okay. So maybe if you have, let's go ahead and delete stuff anyways. Let's put this guy outside. So what happens if we put it back outside of our if statement? Where does that leave us? It should leave us. So it should leave us with a leading 1, right? Maybe. We still have 2 leading zeros. Oh, because we haven't gone to the next step. So if we went ahead and did like this, our MQD is 0. Okay, our QL is 0. And then, oh, this condition up here. Let's go if QL equals 0, then QL equals, what does it actually become? Well, it's removing 2 zeros. That's what we need to delete. Okay. Well, I think we're stuck here. So I'll make a comment. Say stuck with 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1 when we need. Oh, actually, hold that thought. Hold that thought. What if we go? Maybe we put this in here, right? Then we, in the else, we go for I equals 1 to qmin. We do stream 1 at 1 equals delete. So maybe you delete 3 zeros because qmin is 0. That might be it. So let's go ahead and run all of it. Constants we didn't deal with. MQDs we did deal with. Oh, change our for loops to 2, 2. It didn't crash. Okay. We got something, but not what I want. This number's wrong. Stream still has numbers on it. This number's wrong. This one's right. This one should have a 3 and a 4 here. Okay, that's fair. So if we go 1 to 1 and okay, that leaves us with 0, 0. Let's delete qmin minus 1. Delete that many zeros off of it. Okay. So we look at the stream and we lead it with a 1. I like to see that. I like to see that. Okay. It crashed, but I'm not disappointed. Exactly. Not exactly disappointed. Interesting. All right. So let me leave a comment here. It says something like left with stray 001 for blank group. Save this. Close this. And we're done with that for now. It's good to take a break every once in a while when you make a lot of progress doing the same thing. Then maybe you'll come back and you'll see something new that you didn't see before. So we made pretty good progress there. Almost done. Okay. Give me a little bit to launch the game. That's what I'm doing right now. And I'm pulling up folders. Okay. Folders pulled up. Game launching. We'll see if it can load. Also, so on the migrate account thing, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I do kind of hate how they're giving capes to everybody for it. It kind of devalues the point. Yeah, it's mainly just like them adding more features so you can connect with your friends. I mean, maybe they'll have no server, like client server connecting stuff like Bedrock does at some point. Granted, that always didn't work for me because of firewalls. But 1.16.4 basically has no updates. Oh. Okay. And my window in OBS might be resized badly. Oh, actually it's resized just right. All right. I am 3 minutes behind my stream, so I can't even see where it's at. Cool. This is going to be the real test. I think last time I streamed, I got the settings correct. All right, we're switching it up. We're done with MATLAB. Now we're doing some other stuff. Because who doesn't like to switch coding midstream and try and switch their brain? Okay, so here we have something that is might be interesting to you guys. So here we have swords. Yes. And there's a slight delay just because I don't want to spam stuff. But here we have, ooh, it's 0, 0, and now we have +3. I will take it. All right, and then we can put some more. So we'll put a 3 and we'll put a 0 and we'll get a 6. Sounds cool. And we'll get some more. So we'll put a 3 and a 0. Oh, and now we have a 9. Okay. Now there's some other things that you have to account for, because that's not the only thing you want to account for. So I clicked on it. What if I shift click it? Does it still work? Yes. Awesome. It still works. All right. So what if I drop it? Because if you hover over something and you press your drop key, it will drop it. Oh, never mind. It still works just like that. All right. So what if we decide to, well, let's exit the menu. Oh, I got my sword back. All right. Cool, cool, cool. All right. So now let's go ahead, and what we're going to do is we're going to try shift clicking this and this really fast so that we can get the 18 and save our 0. Oh, we did it. Did it? Nope. So we have our 0 and we have the 15. So there's a lot of features in this to double check, but none of it's hard coded. So it works for any sword. The only thing that has to be hard coded is one command that checks item tag list of possible items. So yeah. So this just combines only the ATK stat, which does literally nothing right now, but it's a concept, proof of concept. And here we have a pit that is very high up. Ooh. I'll jump down it even though it doesn't go anywhere. It is what it is. Yeah, all right. So what I'm going to be working on is basically like, so you have dungeons, right? So that's the idea. You have like dungeons. And then you have items like demo sword, but this is demo sword, so you'll never get it. So you have all these items, and when you go into the dungeon, you fight bosses, and there's a chance to get the items that drop. And they have somewhat random variables. So some are better than others just from the get-go, but those are kind of like intrinsic random variation. But there is a maximum value for the stats that's going to be, I think I'll say they're all the same for the max. So your starting point is kind of like the randomization will be on the bonus, so the plus. So you can get one that says 3 plus 2 or 3 plus 1. So I think that's where I'll add it. And the syntax that I'm doing here. So the plus means that it's a stat that makes your weapon better in PvE. The base value is your PvP stat. So the balancing means that the way I balance is when you PvP, all your stats are the white. But when you PvE, it's the white plus the green. Waffle, I see you. Anyways. So that kind of gives us a nice dichotomy between PvP and PvE, so that the players can, so that the balancing is possible without people getting upset saying like, oh, you're way better than me, stuff like that. People won't complain necessarily. Anyways, that's the idea for this server game, so that we can have a single player mode that people can like grind to get new types of gear. And then they have a PvP multiplayer mode for when you guys just want to have tournaments or like custom gear that's only possible from PvP. So very similar to, I guess, those games on your phone that you might play where you have like there's games on your phone with like the characters and you evolve them and you level them up and then you go to PvP and then there's custom loot there. Except the difference is this is in first person POV. It's not on your phone. You're not tapping. You're not idle. There's no idle involved. You're actually going and doing the things to get the stuff. But the feedback loop / reward system is very similar to those classic gacha type phone games. Okay. Also, there's people are typing in the comment in the chat about hacking accounts because of the account migration. If somebody tries to migrate your account because they know your login information from Mojang and they know your login information from Microsoft, your Mojang account is still linked to your email, so you can always just call or email Microsoft / Mojang and tell them, hey, it got migrated to the wrong thing, and they'll change it back. It's like you're not going to get hacked unless you just don't know your email from when you made your Mojang account, which mine is the same as my Microsoft, so... And Java Edition is going to make everybody migrate their Mojang account to their Microsoft account by Thursday this week. So get ready for that. Now let's get a block palette. So we got mossy. Dirt. Of course. Dense dirt. Podzol because everyone hates that block. Grass because it's not always dirty. Okay, so I guess I can build like a little patch area, but basically you're going to drop down here, then you go into the dungeon and you have to fight bosses and stuff like that. So that's the idea. Now I just have to essentially build, ideally I would have probably it considerably far away from the core spawn, just so that it's you don't see people's names everywhere. So we're at 0, 0, so we'll go to 100, 0, and 100, 0, 0. And that gives us a starting point. So this is going to probably be built by somebody else because I don't do my building typically. So this will be on Waffle to build, but I'm gonna build a starting area just so that I have something to work with. I kind of like the idea of like a graveyard, but underground. That might be cool. So let's try that. So we go -5, -5, 5, -1, 5, dirt. Okay. And there we go. The problem with, game rule, I need random tick off so that it doesn't spread. Sorry. I think that random tick speed 0 actually makes the game run faster, but I cannot confirm or deny that fact. So I'm just going to add some human randomness to this. And by human randomness, it means that I'm purposefully spreading things out in such a way that people think is random, but computers don't think is not actually random. I think I'm placing it randomly, but we all know the bias of we see something and we think it's not random enough, but it actually is random. Great psychology topic. Okay. That's random enough. Debug stick isn't that exciting. No, not really. Okay. So I'm thinking something of like a cave wall. And really this is just a template kind of patch area because, you know, I'm such a pro builder. Okay. So this is like a cave, like almost like a catacombs, but not. And then the bosses can be like skeleton. The enemies can all be skeleton based, of course, and undead. Which obviously, anytime you're doing something like this, the first level is always undead. We all know this. It is a logic. It is rules. It is the law. So there we go. It's kind of like a wall, and you can put like skulls on it. And then we can texturize the wall with some cobblestone. Okay, then we can put mossy cobble in there, but very sparsely. Yes, big brain words. Okay, and that works out pretty well. And then obviously we need to have some of the wall melding with the floor, because that just makes sense to me. Looking good, looking spicy. Okay, so that's just kind of an example of a part of the dungeon. And it can be a labyrinth of sorts. And we can have various things going on here. I think this looks pretty good. Obviously we can have chains, because chains are just cool like that. Yeah, I like that. And maybe some lanterns so that people can see. And we can just hang them from the chain. Oh, come on. You know you want to hang from the chain. There we go. Okay. What's going on, guys? Liam and everybody else that joined. So it looks like people are hopping back on now that I'm doing something that they know. Checking back in. Okay. So I think that's pretty good. And we would basically have like kind of a labyrinth out of this. But I'm lazy. So somebody will build this, maybe, hopefully. I hope so. And this would just kind of extend overhead. So I guess I can do that, but it's kind of hard to make a tunnel shape when you don't continue the tunnel. So there's that. I think that kind of completes it. At least that half. Okay, cool. So we got this. Now let's do some enemies. And here's our demo swords. All right, let's do some enemies. All right, so we can have kind of like occasionally along the path. We can use, I think farmland looks good. Ignore any untextured things. And stone brick looks like it's deliberate. So we can have kind of like these along the path. And then zombies come up out of them. But they're kind of like unmarked graves, kind of just along the path. Alright. So when you get close, the zombie will come out of the grave. And that's actually pretty easy to do. So we come down here. And we go ahead and give ourselves a little bit of dirt underneath. Otherwise the zombies are going to just fall to their death. Alright. And we just, summon something here. You can like slowly rise it out of the ground, but I'm an efficiency king, so I don't want to do anything that is over the top for what it is. So I'm just going to spawn them here. And we would mark these probably with an entity, maybe with a data storage structure. That is if you are getting into the realm of super crazy. Command blocks might also be a good idea. They're actually better than, they might be better than entities. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, area effect cloud or something here. So let's go ahead and do summon zombie. What is this? 102, 6, -2. All right, so then let's give it some, we'll probably give it random armor items and random hand items. So we'll just kind of give him some interesting things here. So iron helmet, of course. And we'll give him some pants. Okay, let's give him some hand items. All right, and let's give him an iron sword, or nah, a stone sword. Iron sword would be like, I mean, I hope they had a copper sword. That'd be cool, but I don't know where that would fit in. I might have put that. Oh, I forgot to count. All right, so we have an enemy here. Hello. Die. All right. Now, the tricky part, and what I still haven't worked out, because I worked this out with you guys before, is custom arrows so that I can shoot arrows that do cool stuff. Problem is, what about custom swords that do cool sword stuff? Because that is a little bit harder than that. And welcome everybody that's joining. We have a significant change of people. So I'll just let you guys know roughly what we're doing. We're just working on some server related possible activities, kind of like a gotcha, those games on your phone that you play, kind of with that style. So we got an enemy. Now we need to detect when we hit him with a special sword. So let's go ahead and do TP 0, 180, 0. Well, obviously smite's going to work, but what about our own enchants? So let's say that this was a demo sword and it had some special ability on it, and I want to have the demo sword do like lightning attack or something, or a flying sword. In-app purchases are illegal. Yeah, we will. It takes everything that's good about those mobile phone games, and it makes it, and it takes away everything that's bad. So it takes the good thing, as in the item management and the ability, that kind of like leveling up management, but then it takes away the no idle, no just tap and everything wins for you, none of that. You have to actively do stuff. No in-app purchases. I guess, yeah, maybe it is. I mean, I could call it Minecraft Dungeons, but it's not exactly that. It has PvP, so that's another aspect that doesn't make it that. So let's give ourselves a demo sword. Let's give ourselves a lightning sword. And we're just doing this. Okay, so let's have lightning sword. And what rarity will we make lightning sword? I think that would undoubtedly have to be pretty high rarity. I just have it written down somewhere what the colors are. Hey, that one would be epic. We'll make it epic. All right, epic. No, it's not illegal for people to monetize servers. It's illegal to have aspects on a server where only certain players can get to if they pay. That's what is against the EULA. It's also illegal to have stuff where certain people pay and the thing that they get from it is like not, it's essential to the game, right? So you wouldn't have like a currency. That you wouldn't have like a custom currency that only is obtainable by paying for it, is what I mean. You can't have that. So let's go ahead and delete this stuff. It has to be all cosmetic related, as in like that's how Hypixel is still alive. I mean, if they couldn't make money, period, then you'd have a serious problem. All right, so then let's add some abilities to this guy. Yeah, I might be louder because my mic is literally in my mouth because I want to make sure that the volume's clear for you guys. Okay. So the rarities would be common, rare, epic, legendary, I think, just because I like that. Keep in mind that this is heavily based off of taking ideas from Clash Royale, or that game in particular, but then translating them to a first-person RPG style game. And I'll just put lightning here as a placeholder. I don't like the way that looks. Let's give it italic false color gold. All right, cool. Good enough. All right, so it has some ability called lightning. And what we use to memorize what it is we have abilities. Okay. And this would actually probably be an array, but I'm just going to make it a single number. So we're going to go with 2, or let's call it sword ability. And we're just going to have a number, but it could be an array for crazy. All right. Dang, there's a lot of people here. What's going on, guys? So we're just working on coding up some RPG style stuff. 94. I've never had 94 people here before. What is going on, guys? How's it going? That is more than I'm used to. Hopefully this isn't too dead boring for you. All right, so data get entity as selected item dot tag dot sword ability, and turn that on. Okay, so it reads a 1. So when you're holding something, that's a 1, right? So then we're going to store this into .type sword, and then we need to have an objective to put it on. So it'll take that 1 and it'll put it somewhere. So now I might start popping up my Sublime stuff. So if you guys want to see, if I accidentally leave the Sublime tab up, let me know. So we have player. Oh, nope. All right, let's make a scoreboard. But yeah, I think we're just going to have like 4 rarities to start. We're not on the server right now either. So this is stuff in single player development for the server. And let me know if the way that I did the text on these items looks good, or if you have any suggestions, because for now it's like kind of placeholder, but I might change the colors and the arrangement. I have it set up so it's like a bar that says stats, and then it would put all the stats under that. I think it looks pretty understandable. I might add an extra space between the word and the word stats. Okay. Okay, so let me turn on Sublime. If you guys want to see the code, I will shrink it, but then I will zoom in. So then you're not too hindered. Right. The only person that hurts is me, because I just see these ginormous words on my screen in size like 48 font. All right. So let's go ahead and add swords. I think that's good enough. Swords. Okay, reload. So now when I do this command, right, it gives me a 1 for the type. If I hold this one, it gives me a 0, which means I don't have any type. So this is just kind of how you indicate which one you're holding and what ability to use. The tricky part comes in to detecting when you hit something and having that thing detect who it is, but who it is out of multiple people at once. So just picking the nearest player is not always the solution. You can cheese that. So let's go ahead and do summon a dummy here that we can just smack around. Okay, and let's give him attributes. Ooh, I can type most of the I can type most MBT on my own, but when it comes to attributes, that's where I say, come on, generators. So we're gonna use a generator to get his health to 1024, which is the most you can give it. Okay, so now we have our dummy. Let's give him no gravity as well. So here's his dummy. I'm not referring to myself. And we can just hit it as many times as we want. Perfect. Just smack it up. All right. If the objectives exist, why create it again? Just because I'm lazy. I mean, obviously you could, like, because you'd have to check if it exists over and over. So it's not any performance issues because this runs only one time when you reload the pack. And vulnerable doesn't work in creative. You'll just kill it. Okay, so now I'm popping up a website, which I can't show you guys my web browser while I'm on it because I like to try and keep my streams neat if I can. So, and if you need bigger text in the top right corner, let me know. So here we have I'm using a predicate generator. Okay, so we have a predicate generator. How can we transfer the knowledge that I hit something and he hit me? No, invulnerable doesn't work. I don't want to prove you wrong in front of all these people, but I have to. Yeah, he's dead. Yeah. Anyways, so we have, how can I transfer the knowledge? We need to come up with a way to transfer the knowledge that I hit this guy and he knows that he got hit by me. But not just anybody, because what if my friend is closer to him and also hit something? That's where you run into the serious issue. So with bows, you can use potion effects as an ID system to know, oh, so this is player number 2. Player number 2 hits this thing because I have a potion effect value of 2. But with swords, you don't have a potion effect. So how can we work around this? We need a clever workaround, just like the potion effect. Is there anything where we can left click that will transfer information in some way? I don't think there is. That's the tricky question. Is there anything that when you hit, it'd be really cool if they added some item, any item at all into this game that did transferred information on hit, like a stick that when you hit them, it gives them potion effect. You can use raycasting, that's an option. But the problem with raycasting is that since you're running a tick later, if I go like this, if I go like that, the raycast will go that way and then it won't know. So when the way I implemented this before is I did raycasting, but if the raycasting fails, then I do if the raycasting fails, then I do the nearest person who dealt damage. But yeah, so you can use stuff like that. There's also another trick to this, but I don't know if it works. So we're going to test it. It might be cool. Maybe. But we'll have to figure this out for ourselves. Data get entity s. What data do I have? We might be doing something real sneaky. Maybe. All right. It might be sneaky. It might involve some hard coding and objectives. We'll have to see. So one of the interesting things to bounce off of is predicates. And predicates have a property for damage source. And damage source can have a source entity. And the source entity can be a player. And we can create this predicate and see if it works. So we can go data R and we can go predicates. But the problem is that you still won't know who. So the trick might involve stuff that I did in my video where you right click on mobs and the right click trigger stuff with the predicate. Might involve that, but then you have to have hard-coded X values for X players online. You're limiting how many players are allowed in the dungeon at a time. Not necessarily a bad idea since we're already going to need to limit how many players are in the dungeon at a time. What's up, guys? Kisani and MLG has typed hi way too many times. We might have to put him in a timeout. All right. So let's go ahead and reload this. Hit me. Hit. I'll just call it hit. Okay. So that's a predicate that triggers when it's hit by a player. let's go ahead and do a repeating command block because I'm lazy. Say hi, execute as at E if predicate are hit, run, say hit me. All right. Okay, so yeah, it's the predicate I think only works on players. Okay, so predicates only work on players, I'm fairly certain. Thank you, Bruno. Have a good one, if that means you're heading out. Let's see, do they only work on players? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so it works on mobs. So we need to detect when you get hit by something. Okay. Damage source. Source entity is a player. Maybe direct entity is a player. Let's try direct entity. We just need to see the words hit me when a player hits him. No? Okay. That's not possible with advancements. No, advancements don't work on mobs. So we have to... Hi has the random project a name or description. No, the name is not for the server. Yeah, predicates have to work. So let me look up Minecraft predicate damage source and see exactly what the damage source page talks about. Damage source checks property of damage source. Predicate applies to the damage source. Tags common to all damage types. Okay. Then how come it's not working? Okay. No, the stream is not frozen, by the way. Let's check this. So if I get myself some flint and steel and start burning this guy, what happens? Oh! This is not good. I still have the command. In here. No gravity. Let's make him silent. No, I like to hear his pain and suffering. Where's the no AI? Sometimes I'm tempted to make my own version of MC Stacker just because I don't like the layout of some of the stuff. Okay. But I want to burn this, so. Are you kidding me? Data modify entity. I think I can just put him on fire. Fire set value 100. Okay. Damage source is fire. I don't know why that doesn't tick off. No, doesn't tick off. Okay. There might be something here. Yeah. Predicates, why no work? Yeah. So damage source is not working right. It might just be maybe... Do we just write it like that? No, it's damage source properties. If your damage source is fire, it exists. The key here is going to be getting the damage source thingy working. Let's try killed by player. Reload, summon villager. No, it's not even killed by player isn't even working. Maybe I have to be in adventure mode? Nope. I don't know why this isn't working. Damage source, damage source, damage source. Damage source properties isn't working. This was a bug. Post, and nobody has responded to it. Nice. I think it's only works in advancement, sadly. I think maybe this is just a predicate that can't be checked because the game tick is faster than the game tick is faster than the predicate maybe, so it becomes false before it can update. I just use Sublime. That's the best thing for me. And there is 17 comments saying that this bug is confirmed. Looking at the source for this, specifically considering the predicate selector argument, this is loop context, blah, blah, blah. This is quite a shame as it prevents us from testing when a non-player entity is damaged by a certain player. Okay, so it's not possible. Great. Awesome. I love it. All right, we go for attempt number 2. Okay. So no predicate for you. All right. Then we go with our second best option, which is what somebody else already suggested. So when player hits something, you detect that. When the thing hits, it takes damage, you detect that. And you go to the player and you raycast to the thing and you try and find the thing that you hit. Ooh, okay. Probably our best case scenario is going to be from player to nearest thing rather than from nearest thing to player, so that you can ensure that the player only hits one thing. Hypixel uses plugins. I'm not using plugins. There's a lot more you can do with that. All right, so scoreboard objectives. No, we can use a advancement for the player detection because less scoreboard's better. So let's go ahead and do advancement. And this would be player hurt entity. Player hurt entity. Conditions on the victim. Your entity is, we're going to do inverted. This entity is not a player. Nah, we'll just do any entity. So this entity, and that's pretty much it. I mean, like, I don't really care what entity it is. Run the function. So what function are we going to run? We're going to do R colon player combat sword. Oh, probably we want some conditions on the player in that this damage source, right? Oh, let's go ahead and let's just do it on the entity. So the damage source is a player. So if a player hits something directly, not with the arrow. So this would be hit and then say hit. Okay. So this is just going to test like when the advancements happen. Advancements. Oh, we should also revoke the advancement. No, there's only one Cloud Wolf. All right, let's see. So melee hits is the name of this advancement. Let's see if this triggers. Reward should be a function. The function should be, what is this? No, don't want you. R colon player combat sword hit. R colon player sword combat. No, combat sword hit. Okay. Okay, so let's add the revoke statement. Functions player combat sword hit. Then say hit. Okay, player combat sword hit. Let's go ahead and delete player conditions. Okay. What if instead, well, let's, yeah. What if we just delete the conditions here? So let's just go with anytime you hit something. Okay, yeah, that works. Damage source. Damage source is so weird. How it works. Let's add MBT to the player hitting so that they have to be hitting with a special sword. So selected item. Tag. Sword ability 1. Oh. Nah, I want to check for any sword ability. So let's just go sword 1B. And we'll add our own special tag to this guy. So when I hit him with this guy, it does nothing. Perfect. So let's go here. We have sword 1B. So that just is like a binary true false thing. And now it knows that I hit it with a special sword and not just my sword. Perfecto. So we added this condition here. This is redundant. So the condition is when you are holding a sword that has this Boolean sword tag. So this one will trigger. All right. So now from the high, this is where we start to deal with some stuff. Okay. Okay. So now we need to make another scoreboard. Let's just go with one called hurt time. It's kind of important. Okay, so at people with hit, we're going to do execute as at E. distance equals ... And the closest thing you could hit is like maybe 6 or 7 blocks. So I'll just go within 7. Then run, and then store result score at s, hurt time run data get entity at s hurt time. Okay. So now it should, let's go at s, because I don't think there's context there for where it is. Okay. That command ran. Oh, I wasn't holding the special sword. Okay, so there. Now it has a hurt time at 10, because sometimes like the tick might be off, so hurt time might not be 10. So I just do that just in case. But I think with an advancement, it should be instantly 10. So let's remove that scoreboard. I think it should be always 10 with that logic. Okay, and then let's go MBT equals hurt time 10s. Sort equals, we'll sort it after the distance. And we should do the distance first. This is actually some meta stuff that you guys might not know, but the order you do the selector arguments in, the can affect the efficiency, essentially. I'm pretty sure, last I checked, that actually can affect efficiency by a little bit each time. Okay, so we pick everything that is within 7 blocks. Then we sort it by the nearest first. Then that one thing will check the MBT, I believe. So we go limit equals 1. No. Well, we want to sort it by nearest, figure out if their MBT is 1, and pick one guy. I think so. I think that we'll pick. So we take them all. We take all the guys within 7. We get their MBT, find if their MBT is correct. Then we check, we sort those guys by the nearest, and then we pick one of them. Run, say hi. Okay, so we can actually test this by spawning 2 dummies. Okay, and what this will do is it will do, let's just go at s run set block. There we go. So that picked him. Let's go with just a quick reset thing. And not pick one. Don't care about sorting. And there you go. So now that'll just move it to who I hit. Okay. So now there is the case of if they're very close together, then sweeping edge kicks in and I hit 2, right? I think so. Yes. Okay. So do you see that? It picked the guy that was closer to me. It's picking the one that's closer to me out of the 2 that I hit. So the ordering of your selector argument here matters. So it says that we're picking everything within 7 blocks. Then we're picking everything of those things that have 10 on their hurt time. Then we're sorting that list by nearest, and then we're picking one. If we instead took this MBT check later, it might actually not succeed at all. So let's see if that makes a difference. So you can see kind of like how this affects things. So let's do the MBT check at the end. You might see that it might not work. You could see that one time it didn't work, but the order kind of matters. So I just assume that the order will matter, and I try and make sure that I do it the right way. Okay. So what do we do next? So we have setting blocks. That's all nice and cool, but who cares about setting blocks? I don't. So what we're going to do is the nearest guy is going to be tag address add. Most likely. So this guy is going to be kind of our fallback. So this one that we picked here is going to be the if our raycasting doesn't work, then this is our most likely candidate for the one that you hit. The nearest one to you that is hurt. This is our most likely candidate. But if the raycasting succeeds, then it should pick this guy as opposed to this guy, because this is the one we were actually looking at. Raycasting fails, it picks this guy. Okay, and then we do scoreboard players set dot range sword. Well, we're looking within 7 blocks, and we're gonna do increments of, let's do 0.5. So 7 times 2 is 14. Crank it up to 18 just in case. Okay, then we need a new function called raycast, which has this guy. Then we do if score dot range sword matches 1. So if you should still continue, then you move forward by 0.5. Scoreboard players remove dot range sword 1. And then we do some checks to see if we can find an entity. So we just go execute positioned, no, as at e mbt equals hurt time 10s dx equals 0. Okay. And actually this might be better for efficiency again. So this guy's the most likely. What we can do is we can go give all those things hurt, and then execute at s as at e tag equals hurt sort equals nearest limit equals 1 add run tag at s add hurt nearest. Okay, and then after this we'll do tag at e remove hurt tag at e remove hurt nearest. Okay, so my logic behind this is MBT checks suck, so I don't want to do an MBT check here. So let's do tag equals hurt. So now we have a tag check. Tag checks are nice. So then we do positioned negative 0.9 negative 0.9 negative 0.9 if entity at s dx equals 0 positioned 0.9 0.9 0.9 run function r player combat sword slash at target. Okay, so then we have at target, and then we'll set fake stuff. So scoreboard players set dot range sword -1. So if we succeeded, we set the range score to -1, which updates a flag, lets us know, hey, we hit something with our raycast. All right, so then back out here, we're also going to do tag at s add this, because this is the player. Tag at s remove this, because this is the player, and we only need to remember it if we raycast. Remove it there. Execute if score dot range sword matches -1, unless. So if it's -1, then that means we succeeded in our raycast. If it's not -1, then we didn't succeed in our raycast, and we should play run function. Then we go as at e tag equals hurt nearest at s run function r player combat sword at target. So we just force the target thing to run if the raycast fails, essentially. And then this will remove all of the stuff that matters. Technically, if I run this hurt nearest inside the at target, it'll be more efficient. Because then you don't have to go to every entity and see if you remove the tag. I do need to remove every entity's hurt that is hurt because there's no context deeper that plays around with things that are with everything that's hurt. Okay, so that should do it. So let's just go inside here. We'll do say at a tag equals this, hit at s. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so we're crashing on something. Let's do function r player combat sword hit. Okay. Okay. So let's go ahead and do tag at e say hi at e tag equals hurt. Okay. Okay, so there was a villager that classified as hurt. What about hurt underscore nearest? Was there one that classified for hurt nearest? There was one that classified for hurt nearest. Okay. So then how come? Test passed. Okay. Oh, I typed combat wrong. Yeah, thank you. You guys saw it first. Okay. And I don't think it's letting me type in this function, so let me reopen it. Yeah, combar. Yeah, combar seems about right. It's gonna say stuff like that. So let's go ahead and go with hit. Let's take away the high. All right, so now it'll say 1. Cloud wolf hit villager. And it said 2, okay. Hurt nearest. How do you tag equals hurt sword equals nearest. Hurt nearest. Say hi at e tag equals hurt nearest. Okay, there is nobody with hurt nearest right now. And let's do set block, diamond block. So we can see visibly which one it picked. Or really I could do particle, right? Particle. Particle heart 2. Or let's go particle happy villager 0 0 0 0 10. Okay, and we need to go 3 up. Okay, so that is telling it yes. Okay. Okay. So this is telling us both. Okay. I don't like that. So let's go let's limit it to oh, let's add a if score condition here. Okay. That way, it should only do 1 per raycast. Because that might be a problem too. You don't want it to trigger both at the raycast. Okay. Okay. Run say came from non-raycast. Or let's just do say hi at e tag equals hurt nearest. Okay. Interesting. So it picked up twice. And I think it's because it counts it as me hitting 2 things, which I think is kind of fine. Like I'm pretty sure that the way it works is like it does 2 separate advancement situations. So like if I took away this advancement revoke command, then it should only happen once. Yes, it's because I'm revoking the advancement. And it's updating me twice because I hit 2 things, which I think is fine. So it'll still work in PV. My concern is that when you hit something, 2 people hit something at the same time, that's when it cancels out, and I don't want that to happen. So as long as that's not happening, then I think we're good. Oh, I have to revoke the advancement. I soft locked myself. Okay, yeah, that's only doing 1. But it occasionally will update 2 when I do a swing, just because the game is actually giving me the advancement twice. But that's cool. But see, you can see it only did it once there. Interesting. Why is it? Is it picking him 3 times? What's going on there? Well, we have weird behavior when you do the sweeping edge, but I don't know if I want sweeping edge because it might be broken, so I can just make it like if I retexture it, but this is actually like an iron shovel, and then you won't have any problems because there's no sweeping edge. So, but yeah, I don't know. Sweeping edge might be broken, so that might be like a special thing only some swords have anyways. Okay, so now we have to get to the point of all this stuff. So tag equals this only matters like sometimes. That thing we did earlier with the store result score matters, so let's go that. Where is it? I did so much work between now and then. Here it is. All right, so store result score with the ability. We didn't have to use any scoreboards though, technically. And we got this stuff working, so power to the advancements. So this gives us a type of 1. Let's go ahead and give ourselves one that might have a type of 2. And there's our type of 2. So we kind of know what type it is. Then at our target, we effectively just have to do function R player combat sword type directory, and this is where we delineate what type of sword it was, and you'll just have a whole family of functions in here. So I'll probably cover all this stuff in like a tutorial video formally later. Execute if score.type sword matches 1. Run function R sword type R player combat sword type lightning. Lots of subfunctions. And we'll summon lightning here, but I don't think that the lightning sword would do actual lightning, but we'll see. Summon lightning. It's actually called lightning bolts. What's up, shotgun? Okay. This will do nothing. Let's turn fire tick off. And I like it. You can see it's working, right? Occasionally it'll do both though, just because the ray casting succeeded and it picked the near one. But let's say I have one like this. Well, it might have. Yeah, the lightning's happening at the far one, but it looks like it's hitting both because lightning has a radius effect. Alright, so let's make a second sword that does ability 2 so that we can show some delineation. So this one will be, let's just do one that is explosion. I don't know. I probably would never actually do something that did this in reality, but it's just a test. explosion sword. And sword ability is 2. Okay. And as simple as you may think, it is just a scoreboard check away. This is the preferred method for any system that's going to have like multiple things added onto it. Let's do summon creeper. Obviously, it'll be a creeper. It could be like potion effects and an explosion, but I'm lazy. So let's do creeper. Creeper. Creeper is set to explode. How about we just refresh this page? Summon creeper. Creeper is no AI. He is ignited. His fuse is 0. And it will have an explosion power. Where's that? 3. We'll give it a nice radius. Making this thing invisible won't matter because it's going to be visible even if you give it the potion effect of invisibility. Because sadly, it takes a tick for potion effects to take into place. Oh, that just straight out killed him. Perfect. And then this one still is the lightning sword. I think it's possible to kill them after I turn it to a witch because they lose their MBT. So we have our explosion and our lightning sword. Oh, that was quick. Obviously, these aren't balanced, and obviously there's some issues with the combination center because it would let you combine. No, it wouldn't. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, because the extra MBT involving abilities is not a thing. So now maybe you want to stack multiple abilities on top of each other. You could do that using an array, and you use a cycle. So you take this guy here and you repromulgate this guy. So this actually might be something. This actually is something I want to do. So we're going to repromulgate this guy here. Okay. Actually, no. Wrong. I'm dumb. Okay. So what you do instead is you do data modify storage r temp set from entity as selected item dot tag dot sword ability. Okay, so we're moving this to a data storage structure, which is a global temporary array. So then we go to at target. Okay. And we go execute store result score dot I sword. Actually, we could do this outside here because it's all global anyway. Okay. And then in directory, we go execute if score dot I sword matches 1 run function R player combat sword type directory. So it loops and we do scoreboard players remove dot I sword 1. Okay, so this will loop it if there's like if it's an array. We go execute store result score dot type sword run data get storage r temp 0. Okay, then we do data remove storage r temp at 0. So now you're going to see the coolness of this, what this does for us. So our sort ability we changed to an array, which inherently is going to have its own inefficiencies of takes a little bit more data to remember what's on there. But we have a really cool plus advantage of this. So let's make sure that our original works. So we have lightning and then we have explosion. But what if we want both in one sword? So let's go with, let's give it some life here. So let's go ahead and copy the text so that we know this is going to be both. All right. Lightning. So now we have 2, 1, 2. So that's our array. So it'll apply the lightning and then it'll apply the thunder. And the order actually could change the way the game works, the way the sword works. So this basically lets you have, like, you could have like random rolls, random order sword abilities. So here's our lightning plus explosion sword. So should do both. Let's see. Data get storage R temp. Oh, there's still a 2 there. All right, what happened here? Oh, this stuff here can't be that. It has to be data get storage R temp. There we go. That'll get our length. And you can see that the order does matter. Watch, the order does matter. I sound like a madman maybe to you guys, but watch. If I hit this, one-shot kill, right? But, and I actually put this in the wrong order. This should be explosion, lightning. So this gives a lot of depth without doing much commands. That was what, 4 commands, and it adds almost infinitely more depth than the previous method. You add 3 commands, you get tons of depth with like possibilities, because now order matters and you can have multiple effects on the same thing. So now this one is your explosion plus lightning sword, and you'll see that as I keep spouting out, the order matters. So here we're going to apply 2 and then we're going to apply 1, and you'll see that this guy is worse. So we have lightning, explosion, lightning plus explosion, and explosion plus lightning. Explosion plus lightning, it will not one-shot because the order, right? So first we, there are people that are just getting here. Let's just, let me do this. I want these in the other order because it's cooler. Okay, so let's do this in order. So let's do it all together. So we have demo sword. Demo sword, literally nothing, right? Boring, boring, boring. Now we have lightning sword. Lightning sword turns it into a witch. All right, now we have explosion sword. So we're going to apply explosion sword and it blows up the witch. It can kill the witch. All right, now we have explosion plus lightning sword. So what this means is it does explosion, then lightning. So we'll hit it, but it can't kill the witch because the witch is the only one that's killable by the creeper. So the creeper went off first, hurt the witch, then it lightninged the witch. So then we hit it again and it will kill it. But if we want to kill it in one hit, we need to first turn it to a witch, then blow it up with lightning. Because if it's a witch, then it can die from the explosion. So the order matters, and I think that is just really cool about this system. So if you were to get random drop, where it had lightning and explosion on it, then a sword that had explosion lightning is worse than one that had lightning explosion. So you can already see that just with two abilities here, you have 4 combinations as opposed to 3 combinations. And if you have 3, then you're going to have 8 combinations as opposed to 1, 2, I think 6 or 5 combinations. So that's obviously the best one. And it charges and that's kind of a unintended feature, but it also charges it, so it would be a stronger anyway. All right, I think that's it for today. That was like 4 hours. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time, maybe sooner than last time, because I think the stream thing is working out now, not too laggy, as I can see. Anyways, if you like that, leave a like, and stay tuned for the next video.